Morning, everyone. I would like to call the February 8th, 2024 APCD Hearing Board meeting to order. It is 9:01 a.m. Madam Clerk, can you please call the roll and swear in any witnesses?
Thank you, Vice Chair Schlick. Please note for the record that Chair Rodriguez and Member Powers have notified us that they will not be present for today's meeting. Alternate Member Engelmann will be participating on behalf of Member Powers. All remaining board members are participating in person. Member Gonzalez?
Present.
Member Engelmann?
Present.
Member Spencer?
Present.
Vice Chair Schlick?
Present.
Thank you. I would ask the following individuals to please identify themselves for the record. Hearing Board Counsel.
Emily Helms, Senior Deputy County Counsel, Counsel for the Hearing Board.
I'd like to note for the record, Emily Helms, Counsel for the Hearing Board, will be participating remotely today for today's meeting. Air Pollution Control District staff.
Mary Mahoney, Civil Actions Investigator for the district.
Thank you. I will now swear in those that wish to provide testimony on any item on today's agenda. This includes petitioners, respondents, and APCD staff. Please raise your right hand for the swearing. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you give in the matter before this hearing board is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you. Madam Vice Chair.
We will now move to non-agenda public communication. This is an opportunity for members of the public to speak to the hearing board on subject matter within the hearing board's jurisdiction, but not an item on today's agenda. Before we proceed, Madam Clerk, have we received any requests from members of the public that wish to address the board today on non-agenda public communication?
Thank you, Vice Chair Schlick. We have received no requests from members of the public to address the board under non-agenda public communication today. However, those members of the public that are joining us via teleconference, please dial into the conference line now using the instructions provided on the screen. You may also indicate that you wish to speak on this item by using the raise hand feature at the bottom of your Zoom screen or by pressing *9 now. Madam Vice Chair, seeing no hands raised, there are no members of the public wishing to provide comment on non-agenda public comment today.
Thank you. We will now move to approval of the January 11th, 2024 San Diego County Air Pollution Control District Hearing Board Statement of Proceedings minutes. Before we proceed, Madam Clerk, have we received any requests from members of the public that wish to address the board today on administrative item B?
Thank you, Vice Chair. We have received no requests from members of the public to provide public comment for administrative item B. However, those members of the public that are joining us via teleconference, please dial into the conference line now using the instructions provided on screen. You may also indicate that you wish to speak on this item by using the raise hand feature at the bottom of your Zoom screen or by pressing *9 now. Madam Vice Chair, seeing no hands raised, there are no members of the public wishing to provide comment on administrative item B.
Okay, thank you. We will proceed with comments from the district staff and board members.
I can start. The only thing that I had noticed is on page 16 of the agenda packet, I thought that for the Bimbo Bakeries matter, I believe that the variance was set to expire on March 1st and not March 21st. I don't know if any of the other members recall that differently. I mean, I could be mistaken, but that was just my recollection. So
I actually don't recall. However, considering you were the chair at the time, I would suspect that you were paying very close attention to detail.
Yeah, that was because I believe that was the date that they asked for in the petition.
Is there a way for us to confirm that from the record?
We can go back and confirm that from the audio record. I unfortunately don't have the notes today, but
Let's see if
And the draft statement of proceedings are really short.
yes.
Just that for Bimbo Bakeries, it says petitioner requests a 90-day variance to repair prohibited conducting, and then it says that we accept it. Okay, yeah, let me pull up the full
that's
agenda.
yeah. Because the date is And I know it's the date that they put in their,
In their
in the
petition.
petition.
So I remember there was quite a bit of discussion about sort of timing on this, because there's, of course, when the suppliers say they can do it, and then the reality of that not always becoming reality.
Yeah, I remember we pressed them on that a little bit. They were pretty firm,
Mhm.
because I recalled something about a discussion of a total timeframe of being about 6 weeks.
Yeah. So they requested to March first.
They requested March 1st.
That seems reasonable. I don't remember us saying, let's give them more time, or them asking for more time
Yeah,
to come up with
me
their
neither.
petition.
If I may, it might be possible for me to check the audio record quickly. Would that be helpful?
That certainly would be the best way to confirm it, I would say.
So let's give, counsel for the hearing board, Emily Helms, a couple of minutes to check on that.
Okay, I'll
And-
follow right out.
And,
Thank
if
you.
could just put this, on the screen for the, public to be able to follow along, at the, and as far as the, YouTube, recording. So we're on page 16, which is the actual draft board order regarding petition 4539 Bimbo Bakeries USA Incorporated. And the particular section of the draft proceedings, which subsection letter are you referring to? F,
So
the
the,
last one?
yeah, the paragraph immediately following F.
F, the petition, oh, okay.
Yeah.
The paragraph stating the petitioner has agreed to conditions that warrant a delivery of a report and will monitor identified leaks with rented PID every 7 calendar days and provide a report of findings to the district within 7 calendar days. Was that the one?
It's
Oh,
the
yeah.
paragraph that immediately before that, the board thereby granted the petitioner's request. On the
Oh,
third
okay.
line of that paragraph, it said begin January 11th and expire, it says March 21st, and that was the date,
And
the March 21st through date in question.
there's also
Okay.
a second location in the text that would need to be corrected.
Yeah, part D.
Right.
So, okay, and you're thinking it's a different date?
Yeah, my recollection was March 1st rather than March 21st.
First or March 1st? Question,
I may
okay.
be mistaken, but
Mhm.
my recollection.
Madam Chair, would you like to take a brief recess?
Yes, let's take a brief, 5-minute recess. Do you think that should be sufficient? Let's take a 5-minute recess, and we will come back at 9:15.
For the record, the board will now take a brief recess and return at 9:15.
Okay, it is 9:15 a.m. We are back from recess. The pending question, raised about the minutes, the draft minutes of proceeding for the January 11th, 2024 meeting. Member Spencer, who was chairing the meeting, had identified a question about, how long, the board order, was it supposed to be on page 16 of today's agenda packet? Was the 90-day variance supposed to end on March 1st, which was what he had recalled, or March 21st, which is what the draft statement of proceedings had said, and our Madam Clerk and our and counsel for the hearing board reviewed the proceedings that were recorded on YouTube and displayed there and confirmed that it was March 1st. So thank you, Member Spencer, for noticing that. And we will like to have the record corrected.
For the record, that would be page 16 of the statement of proceedings packet. After finding F, and there's two sections. The first section, on the paragraph starting with the board thereby, and the second section is item D, starting with the regular variance shall.
And is that being shared, that screenshot?
Yeah,
Good share. Yeah. Okay, so that's being shared. Maybe you could highlight that spot for the public record. Great. Okay, let's see. So with that correction, are there any other comments from district staff regarding the draft statement of proceedings or any other members of the board?
We identified some very minor typos in the boilerplate kind of template language, and those we understand are already known and going to be corrected for the final copy. Otherwise, no comment.
Okay, thank you. Okay, is there a motion to approve the minutes as corrected?
I'll move to approve as amended.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Okay, there's a motion by member Spencer, seconded by member Engelmann. Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Thank you, Vice Chair. I apologize. Member Gonzalez,
Aye.
Member Engelmann,
Aye.
Dr. Spencer,
Aye.
Vice Chair Schlick.
Aye.
That motion passes with all members present voting aye, with the exception of Chair Rodriguez, who is not present for today's meeting.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. We will now move to selection of chair and vice chair for 2024. Are there any nominations for chair and vice chair for members of the board? First of all, I would like to self-nominate myself. I've been serving as vice chair for a number of years now. And I appreciate the mentoring and support from Chair Rodriguez, who has been in the chair role for many years. And so I would like to seek your support for chair. And then, are there any nominations for vice chair?
I'll nominate member Spencer, who did a fantastic job in the last meeting. I do have a question too. I'm curious what's happening with member Rodriguez. Is she interested in continuing in her role as chair?
She's doing fine. She's not interested.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah, so.
Important detail.
Very, very much so. I'm honored to accept that nomination. Thank you.
And I would second that nomination as well, because I did observe the YouTube proceedings, and yes, you three did amazing together. It was a lot, the January 11th meeting, and you did very well.
Thank you.
So I appreciate that.
So I've actually got a couple questions. One, no one seconded you. I'm happy to second you if that's
Okay,
part of
sure.
procedure. So,
Yes.
member, I'd second member Schlick's nomination as chair. I also have a question,
Mhm.
and maybe this is more for the record than anything, because this is starting to feel a little bit like a formality. We've got one person nominated for each role.
Mhm.
I'm curious if there's any, training that a chair normally goes through. And not necessarily even as a requirement, but just as a matter of course, in this
I
board.
think that would be a good question for our counsel for the hearing board, Emily Helms, and for our clerk.
Oh, hi. So we have the general training that all of our members go through. We don't have particular training for chair and vice chair, but if there are particular issues that the board would like to see addressed, we're happy to provide one.
Yeah, I mean, the reason I ask is I'm a fairly new member to the hearing board, and I've noticed that there's quite a bit of procedure that happens here. Of course, this is a public hearing board. And we also have a number of state requirements that kind of are overarching for all public meetings. And I think that's an important responsibility that we have to make sure that our chair and vice chair both have sufficient training or knowledge. It doesn't necessarily have to be a formal training to make sure that we're complying with those requirements. So I'm not planning on holding up the nomination process or anything like that, but certainly for the record,
Yes.
I would like to, perhaps the nominated chair and vice chair can speak to their, qualifications, whether it be through training or experience or, other knowledge that they've acquired over the course of their assignment or prior, for, matters that are, largely procedural.
Mhm. Yes, so as vice chair, obviously I've had some experience with this board, prior to this, and, I am the attorney member currently, appointed by the governing board, to that role. And that was based on my, previous experience, disclosed to the governing board and all of my, appointment application and everything, I believe, is a public record. And it is, primarily I've been quite involved with nonprofit board governance. So that's why, sitting in meetings where we decide things and follow Robert's rules and go through, so initially, before I went to law school, I was very involved in, PTA, volunteering. As a parent, I've also been involved, and then since law school, I've been very much involved with Zero Waste San Diego. That's a nonprofit. And then additionally with the California Resource and Recovery Association, I'm on their K through 12 technical council. We have meetings, and we recently had a technical council chat, which was for all of our 109 members. And they had me run the proceedings, last week. And that was a Zoom event. So, and then, as an attorney, obviously I participate for clients and businesses, in hearings. So I'm very familiar with, rules of evidence, civil procedure. And as the hearing board, the rules of evidence procedure are, the hurdles are reduced, but still, we follow the basics. And yeah, I'm just honored to have served as vice chair. And so hopefully that's helpful. The other thing I'd like to say is in the absence of the chair and the vice chair, any and all of you are empowered to run these meetings. And so, exactly. So, as member Spencer experienced at the last meeting, we have a very competent and experienced clerk who is a wonderful, resource, as well as our, counsel for the hearing board. And, yeah, all of us need to always be ready to take the helm if needed. So, I hope that we keep up on our training, all of us, because you just never know. Okay.
Thank you.
Well, I don't nearly have that sort of background when it comes to, certainly procedure and running things. It's been much more of an on-the-job kind of experience for me. The biggest thing I learned on the job was when I was called on to, when we were meeting remotely because of all the accommodations made during the COVID pandemic, to keep up with that and to provide commentary on that and to understand how that operates. That's one. Certainly in running that meeting last time, I leaned very heavily on the clerk and counsel in terms of making sure that everything has been appropriate. I have no ego about leaning on other people for help to make sure that we do everything correctly.
Very good.
And, my experience running things, I mean, kind of the nonprofit I work with, I don't really have a leadership capacity. I haven't run anything, San Diego Pediatricians for Clean Air, and then the American Academy of Pediatrics, single local chapter for that. I have, and in my professional career as assistant chief of service for pediatrics for Kaiser San Diego, I've certainly with 88 or 89 physicians involved me in a leadership capacity with understanding how rules of an overarching organization work. I feel like I've had some learnings there that I could bring to bear.
Very good.
Thank you.
Okay. So there's a motion by member Schlick. I'm gonna go, chair and then vice chair. There's a motion by member Schlick, seconded by member Engelmann, to nominate member Schlick for the seat of chair. Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll for selection of chair?
Thank you, Vice Chair Schlick, Member Gonzalez,
Aye.
Member Engelmann,
Aye.
Dr. Spencer,
Aye.
and Vice Chair Schlick.
Aye.
Madam Chair, that motion passes with all members present voting aye, with the exception of Valerie Rodriguez, who is not present for today's meeting. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. Now for the position of vice chair for the hearing board for 2024, there is a motion by member Spencer, seconded by member Schlick, to nominate member Spencer for the seat of vice chair. Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Thank you, Chair Schlick. Member Gonzalez,
Aye.
Member Engelmann,
Aye.
Dr. Spencer.
Aye.
Chair Schlick. Chair Schlick, that motion passes with all members present voting aye, with the exception of Bill Marie Rodriguez, who's not present for today's meeting. Congratulations, Vice Chair Spencer.
Thank you. And I would just like to say on the record, member Rodriguez served with dignity, grace, and she was a stickler for conditions. And so I very much hope to honor her service and legacy and do the best I can as chair. And I very much appreciate member Spencer stepping up to vice chair. Thank you, everyone. That concludes the hearing board business for the regular meeting, February 8th, 2024. The next regular meeting of the APCD hearing board will take place on February 22nd, 2024 at 9 a.m. Have a great week. Thank you.